I decided to try to remove this excess seam sealer, and so I'm carefully, scoring the edge. I'm sure this is not making for a very good video as far as probably picks up all the vibrations from me hammering around this edge. But I wanted to show you what you can do if you get like really picky. I do that sometimes. But if you want to have a nice finish, it's kind of important to do this sort of thing. So that is that, and then what I do is I dry sand it first, and then I'll go over it and wet sand it. But anyway, you get the idea. This is it's a little time consuming, but it can really make the finish look a lot better. And again, you know, there's going to be some little scratches. You can always, if you want to get really particular about it, you can always go over that with the glazing putty. I'm not going to do that. And I also clean this other corner here. May have a little bit of leftover seam sealer around here. But again, see, some of these edges are kind of visible. And it's interesting because the moment you open the hood, if everything is nice, and there's like some gobs of seam sealer or anything like that, those are the things that jump out at you. So, and then the rest becomes like irrelevant. So anyway, I wanted to share that little OCD portion of this restoration, quote unquote, in case you want to do something similar. Hey guys, I wanted to share something I kind of just discovered, if you want to call it that. I've been trying to get rid of this old weather stripping adhesive that they use for the hood weather stripping, and I just was having the hardest time doing that until I realized that I can scrape it off pretty good with this little chisel. You just have to be careful, but and it's a little tedious, I'm not going to deny that, but it works really well. So that's a tip for you if you're interested in doing that. This is going to be pretty hard to film, but I wanted to give it a shot anyway. If you're doing something similar and you're not at this stage wet sanding, you're going to end up with with a mess. The wet sanding really allows for good lubrication, keeps the sanding paper somewhat clean. As you can see, this is slurry. This almost like a muddy water, which you want to keep removing. Also wearing gloves, not just to protect your hands, but also to feel the little edges. Again, I'm not going for I'm not block sanding this, as you can see. There's a tiny little divot there. But that was never my intention anyway. I just want to smooth out a lot of these imperfections. And just make it look a little better, more finished, if you would. And there was a lot of like little big scratches, little holes here that I do not want to see. Sometimes, by the way, you may have to do a couple of coats of the glazing putty. I chose not to use anything heavier like a regular Bondo, because again, I end up removing quite a bit of this stuff. And if necessary, like I said, you just keep going over it with thin coats of glazing putty. We're not going for perfection here. There are areas that are going to be, they're going to have their own gaps. Again, I'm not trying to make this seamless and perfect. This is not a show car. And of course the edges here are painted, so gotta keep that in mind. And I know this is super tedious and boring, but the reason I decided to show some of this is because if you're not comfortable, you haven't done this before, you kind of need to see what's involved. And I know it looks like hell right now because of all the different shades of gray and red and whatnot. But this eventually is going to be primed and painted black. So most of that stuff will just kind of disappear. Again, I can feel a little, not a sharp edge, but a little bit of a little ledge here, but it's pretty smooth. You can always add some more if you feel like you must. Again, sorry for the boring video. If you know how to do this even better than what I'm doing here, you can always fast forward. But for those of you who are not familiar with the procedure, I hope this is going to be somewhat helpful. All right. Alrighty, I believe I'm gonna call it quits as far as, you know, trying to detail every single little scratch and imperfection. Again, not a show car, even though it looks good, but I sanded pretty much every area that I think may be exposed once I add the insulation, which I still have to clean. I've been looking at a couple of options. One of them from, I believe it's called DEI, which offers a pretty cool product, and it's intended for underhood application. And it's not cheap, but the issue that I run into, I don't think the width is going to be sufficient. I would have to start splicing pieces, and I hate doing that. So anyway, that'll be a last minute thing before the hood goes back on the car. That one looks pretty pathetic, but you know, it'll do its job. And as you can see here, I left this middle section kind of alone because there's no point in me sanding this. This is just spray-on adhesive that I guess I used at some point to help keep that liner somewhat in place. The other thing that I was looking at is I was considering with a new custom liner that I would actually make myself. I was gonna, instead of having it end here, I was gonna bring it up and kind of follow the contour and do it either all the way down to here, like the previous one, or maybe even continuing all the way down to the to include this bottom portion. I don't know. I'm still debating what I'm gonna do as far as the liner is concerned, but anyway, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a good once over with a cleaning rag and a degreaser, and then I'm gonna probably tack it and maybe start applying some paint. I bought, I don't know where I put it. I bought some, yeah, this stuff I was gonna try. I don't know. Bought some plastic. But anyway, I'll see what I end up using. There's, go with the sandable primer first. Again, I'm just gonna see what the end result is gonna be, but I have some options. But I definitely wanna get it painted black with kind of the right sheen of underhood paint. So anyway, guys, that's it for now. I also received today the new hood weather stripping, and this thing is nice. This is the way they're supposed to be, nice and pliable, and it's almost like too plump here for the for this thing, but according to the label, where did I put that? These are the same seals. Weather stripping, hood rear, edge, 63 through 1982, and this is the Eckler's part number 333125, and so it's good to have this, and I'm going to show you how I install it just to make sure that, because this only runs down about yay much, so also you have to pay attention to this edge, because that's what goes like that.